Studio silence. And a good morning once more to you, Lagos and the rest of the world. You're listening to Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. Welcome officially into the segment that is known as Business Express. A quick 15 minutes of the updates of what's going on in the world of business here and, of course, the markets as well. Rotus is in to give us the lowdown. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Folu, Lagos, and beyond. Good morning to you as well.
Hey, Lagos and beyond. I like it. I was like, yeah. Okay, send us your messages. Use the hashtag Business Express 981. That's a very good way to catch us on Twitter. Just tweet out Smooth981FM. Or you can alternatively send us WhatsApp messages. People in here are a big fan of WhatsApp groups. I'm looking at Rotus here.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
myself
it's the future.
Attempted addition.
Folu must join.
Delete. But the WhatsApp number is 0809 444 0981.
All right, thank you so much, Folu. I want to welcome Eromsele of Afri Investors with us today. Eromsele, good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right. So the markets picked up yesterday, 0.7%, 30,822 points is where we closed. So far this year, the market is still down by 19.4%, 25 gainers, 14 losers. Nemeth International Pharmaceuticals was the top gainer yesterday, up by 10%. Access Bank was the top loser, dropped. We're going to talk about that. 5.5% drop yesterday. 365 naira to the dollar is where we're at as far as the foreign exchange is concerned. So first things first, we're going to, Lagos, we're still discussing this merger
as we will
acquisition thing. Yeah, because there's still things coming out there. So it's been interesting seeing how this whole thing has unfolded. The rumors on Sunday, the confirmations, the press releases. So now next up is the regulators. Eromsele, we've heard from the CBN headlines here. This coming from the cable is that the central bank has given its blessing, its approval of this merger between the two companies.
Yes, from news reports that we're seeing, the CBN seems to have granted its approval. Now we're still waiting on approval from the SEC. I think I read something maybe yesterday from the SEC saying that they hadn't received full details of the offer yet. But I mean, the news is out there already, and it most likely go through. And from all indications, it seems like all the permissions that are going to be needed for a successful implementation of this plan will probably go through as well.
Okay, so that's on the regulator side. Now the thorny side though is the shareholders on both sides of in each camp. So there is a proposed conference call today. Access Bank, yes, right. So conference calls allow investors and stakeholders and so on to call in and ask direct questions like to the company of what's going on. With regards to Access Bank stock dropping yesterday, it's my understanding that investors are a little worried about the news of a rights issue that Access wants to raise. And the interesting thing here, what I'm finding out from yesterday, is that Access is the rights issue is for about $200 million.
Yeah.
It is the exact amount that is the purchase of Diamond. That is the exact amount that's supposed to be spending to acquire or merge with Diamond. So investors apparently are a little worried about that. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean that's probably one of the factors that resulted in the loss that we saw in Access Bank yesterday after gains that were recorded on previous day. Yes, raising a rights issue of this amount, which is the exact same amount or very close to the amount at which the bank will be acquiring or merging with Diamond Bank, is probably not a coincidence,
right?
Anyways, and the investors are, especially investors in Access Bank, worries as regards possible share dilution,
right,
as well that could happen. This is not surprising, really. I mean, for you as an investor, if shares are going to be diluted, it means your influence in a manner of speaking is also somewhat reduced,
right,
as more investors are coming up. And I think there are also plans of issuing about, in terms of shares outstanding for Access Bank, there are plans to issue new shares to also be able to accommodate some of the Diamond Bank shareholders that would also be coming. So there's going to be a whole lot of dilution going on following this.
Follow them. Now,
following this.
let's just help out our listeners with a rights issue. You are issuing more shares, but you're selling them, issuing them to your existing shareholders. Right. So you increase to take on more shares. Yeah. But then, as you've mentioned, with dilution, if you're an existing shareholder, what happens is with the fact that they've issued more shares, your proportionate holdings will reduce, right? And so that's their issue. Okay, please, I want to read these quotes, right? Because now this now goes into another aspect of this, still with regards, and I have to, hey, look, we have to talk about this, is transparency. So Herbert Wigwe, who is the CEO of Access, there's a quote here where I think it was Business Day that was talking to him. He said, and he's referring to Diamond, he says they have their own legacy issues, that's Diamond, and a loan book that was not properly managed. He then said that before, and K Trinity actually on Twitter sent out a tweet about this yesterday. He said that they're going to write off not of their bad loans before Access takes over. Because yesterday we were talking about how, compared to the Intercontinental acquisition back in 2012, AMCON helped out because they'd already cleared out the debt, but then we're wondering, will Access take on a lot of debt? So it seems like they are saying no, their Diamond is going to write off a bunch of bad loans before they come on board, which sounds prudent.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that has continued to hold Diamond back is the proportion of their non-performing loans.
Right.
And you, as an acquirer of the bank, are probably not looking to you probably just want to start on a clean slate. Let's clear all that bad air.
Right.
And
open the windows.
And and breathe some fresh air into the bank. But I think another thing that has sort of struck analysts and investors generally is the price at which Access Bank seems to be taking position in bank, which is priced at about 3 naira.
Right.
Yes, and I mean, when you compare that with the fact that from the last results released by Diamond Bank, their book value was about 9 naira 57 kobo.
Right.
In terms of determining what the true value of the bank is, there's been a lot of disparity, and a lot of analysts have been wondering if there have been any alterations to the books, or if anything has been hidden from general public.
And speaking of which, with that concern, I think that's also part of why it seems like a good move on Access part to try and raise this 200 million in case there's any, because I'll say it, I mean, people are wondering if their non-performing loans are higher than what they stated in their last financial statements, right? So we'll hear lots from this conference call today.
Yes, we've got quite a few messages that have come through. Papi K first in to say, morning people, please clarify these issues for me. First, since NSE kind of admitted to this development, why aren't Diamond shares placed on technical suspension? And 2, can the bank shareholders bungle this merger? The Carlyle Group already rumored that they want to fight this. So
okay, well, technically, the technical suspension wouldn't work here now, right? Because this is something that's already been approved by the parties, and it wouldn't actually, this wouldn't be privy for the CBN to actually suspend the shares. I don't believe this would work in this case.
No, I think the expectation would also have been that there would be a closing date for the offer. So
right.
For instance, the stock was trading at about 87 kobo, thereabout, and Access Bank was going to be buying at about 3 naira. Usually what happens is it will be a situation where always the existing shareholders who could potentially benefit from that.
Right.
But in this
so
situation,
you wouldn't want to suspend
that isn't happening, and there's every likelihood that the price of Diamond Bank before the sale is completed will probably rally closer to that. So I'm sure there will be any technical suspension.
Then the second question was about the shareholders. He said shareholders stopping the move.
Bungling.
Right. I
mean, there have been a lot of corporate governance issues with the banks. We've seen reports of aggrieved shareholders and former board members as well. I mean, we're all still looking to see how that will develop.
Yeah, so the appropriate level of drama.
Right, exactly.
Okay, Yinka says, remember how Skybank went on acquiring here and there? Good. So have any questions been asked where acquisition funds have come from? Or this one is different? Then is anyone looking into the sudden spike in diamond shares, even though the rumors had been making rounds before the official news? And by the way, Rotus is saying that Folu is not on WhatsApp. Is she human? No, I'm on WhatsApp. I'm not in excessive group.
Yes,
I will not do it.
She's rejecting my offers for her to join
My
my
battery
groups.
needs to stay up. Benga Kamu says after Access took over Intercontinental Bank, shareholders like me lost big time. Now it's the turn of shareholders at Diamond Bank. I'm just shaking my head. Wow, so bitter. And Darlington from Afri says, as regards this merger/acquisition, what eventually happens to the Carlyle Group as regards their non-controlling interest? Because according to Bloomberg, their shares have been hit badly. Is this not a disincentive for the business environment?
Thank you for your question. So both of those last two messages are addressing Carlyle. Now, Eromsele, the reason why those non-executive directors of Diamond Bank quit, right? They left the board was according to what we heard. Carlyle wanted to reinvest capital, and from what we hear, they wanted Uzoma Jose, who is the CEO, they wanted him to leave, but he refused, and then that now caused.
Well, I mean, it's really all just hearsay.
Right, exactly. At this point, it's
moment,
hearsay, right?
It's really just hearsay. But one thing that will definitely happen is Carlyle Group's influence in terms of their proportion of holdings will definitely be reduced as well. And who knows, they might be looking to exit, just cut their losses and leave. And leave.
Such is life. I mean, they invested, it was $147 million in 2014. That thing has lost it. So that's just, they've lost it. So as of right now, yeah, it was a big loss. So it is what it is. So at this point, I think the key here now for everyone listening is to see what happened at the conference call today, and then see whether shareholders kick back. There's something I can't really discuss, but with regards to what everyone just said, as far as this disgruntled shareholders, there's a document that's been floating around the same WhatsApp about the CEO and his alleged mismanagement of, I can't, because it's an anonymous person that threw it out, but these things always come out when shareholders are upset. If you want the document, you can, indicate on WhatsApp, I'll send it to you, or email, but I can't discuss it on air. But it's like a 4-page, Word doc where they just, list a number of grievances that they have with how the bank was run. So, anything else you want to add?
I think that there was a question about the recent spike.
The spike in the shares.
I mean, for Diamond Bank, really, it's just been a lot of investors who are seeking to take position. The stock is currently traded at ₦1.14.
Right.
And this deal is supposed to go through at about ₦3. So I mean, there's that opportunity for some sort of instant capital appreciation.
Exactly.
That's been on full bid. Which means there are so many people that want to buy and there's nobody that's willing to sell, essentially.
Which makes sense, because again, when it dropped to 66 kobo, it's been rallying since then. So if you bought in at 66 kobo and it's now over ₦1, you've made some good money. So that explains why.
If you put 100 million in it, you'd have made close to an extra 100 million.
If you were brave enough to put money in there. Eromsele of Afri Invest, thank you so much for joining us today. Okay, I've seen some of the messages are coming in.
There are a few,
yes, I'll send them to you. Don't worry, you can read. But again, I can't discuss what it says. Folu?
Okay, thank you very much. To those of you who are looking for this email, do just send us your email addresses to our WhatsApp number. It's 0809 444 0981. And Rotus will do the needful.
Yes, indeed. There
you go. Keep listening, though. Up next, we've got some great music lined up for you. Are You the Man? It's about Little Drummer Boy and Christmas, too. And then at 7:30, detailed newspaper analysis inside a Freshly Pressed. Good morning.
Business Express on Smooth.
Thank you.